So you've given up on society. Yay. Welcome to the club. Finally. Okay. This is something I've really wanted to discuss for a while is to talk to society directly, to the individual members of it, and to welcome them out of the society that they've created or that they're living within. Um, we're going to get to a few different things here in just a moment, but first I want to say welcome to the club. You're not alone. You've given up on society, and there's a good reason for it. Don't worry, things are going to be okay. Um, the most important thing that I want you to focus on is you first. That's really what this journey is all about. When you give up on society, is because you need to go inwards, not outwards. And we're going to talk about that right now, but to give you an outline of this whole picture that I'm going to paint here is first you focus on you. Second, you have to build it, don't look for it. And finally, you have to become receptive, but balance that with integrity. So we're going to get to all of that in just a few minutes, but let's start on focusing on you first. There's a reason that you're tired of society. We can discuss that till the cows come home. We don't need to focus on the problems that have made you give up, okay? The solution that you have to focus on now is to orient yourself towards you first. Now, by that, I don't mean to be an asshole and to be selfish and none of that stuff. What I mean is you have to understand who you are, what you have to bring to the table, what your values are, and how you want to participate in society. Now, the important thing is to not think about how you fit into the society you're currently in. That's the whole problem to begin with. You've given up on that. You don't fit in. You don't want to fit in. It's unhealthy. You don't think that society should exist anyway, and you're hoping that it'll change for the better. It will, but, you know, we're going to have to accept that it's going to get way worse before it gets better. That being said, focusing on you first is a matter of stopping the blame and pointing the finger on the society that you've left. Okay, you've made a value judgment. You've said, I give up on this crap. This is horrible. It's toxic for me. And it doesn't allow me to live a life that I want to live. So what's the point? And then the next thing that follows is, what do I do now? And what you do is you take responsibility. That's the only way to move forward. You take responsibility for your own growth, and you want to turn yourself into an individual who not only can service society in a good way, but you can build society. And that's what I was going to say we're going to get to next. Um, but before we get to that build stage, I want you to really take a second, and I mean right now, not while I'm talking. I mean, take a second and think about, do you actually have something to offer? Do you know what you can offer, what you're willing to offer? Think about it. Okay, hopefully the answer is yes. If it's not the end of the world. You have nothing to offer sometimes because the society that created you or shaped you really didn't allow you and didn't promote an environment that could really develop your skills in a way that could service the society. I mean, that's a big problem for young people nowadays. There's no entry level work, there's no opportunities, there's no hope for the future that they can take part in the economy and therefore in society and build a family. So society is built through family units. That's how humanity works. So you can't even build a little community, a little society circle of your own because you can't either connect with them because you're isolated, or you can't make enough money because it's too expensive, or you're politically polarized with the other gender, so you can't really find a boyfriend or girlfriend to begin with. It's a real mess. So the only way to move forward is to make sure that you make yourself into a valuable person. And how you do that going forward is, yes, to be authentic, which requires radical self-honesty, right? To be who you are, to accept what you are, and to change it for what you want to be, but make sure that what you want to be is something that is wholesome, right? Try to be honest about the illusions of society being installed in your brain and how it's misled you to think that you should be a certain way or offer a certain value that really is destructive to you and your society. Like OnlyFans, like social media influencing, like crypto and just making money. All of this stuff is destructive to your soul, to your essence, to you as a human being. So focus on that. Focus on who would you be if all those things didn't bring you money or fame or status or connection to other people? Because they don't anyway. They actually do the opposite. And the benefits they provide are very, very fruitless. So who would you be? Would you be a family person, right? Where you're taking care of people in your family and you're having children? Or would you be someone who invents something that can help some major problem? Would you be a spiritual guide? There's so much out there that has substance, and you have to develop that. And if enough people do that, it creates a society. Those people who do that and are doing that right now are starting to coalesce into their own society. So that's the beauty of giving up on society. It forms new societies. Um, so that's the next step I was talking about is build it. Build community. Don't look for it. Don't look to fit into any community around, right? First, you have to make yourself into something, and then you might find a society that you're happy with. But it's better to build it because are you going to move to another country and leave your family behind? Are you going to, you know what I mean? Most people, they've already built some level of integration in their lives. They're not going to move to another country. They're not going to move to a place where maybe that society is going to reflect my values. And then you get there and you realize it doesn't. Because in a way, society has been infected all over the planet. You're going to run into the same problems everywhere. So that's why you have to build it here and now and find the other people who are building it as well by building themselves. The next step afterwards is to become receptive. And we're going to discuss this lightly because there isn't much to it. The complicated part that we're really going to get to after is that you have to balance it with integrity. So, what do I mean by that? Being receptive means that you have the capability to actually have the sensitivity to be willing to engage. Okay. It's a bit abstract, but what I mean is put your hand over a flame, and if you don't feel anything, you're not going to move your hand away, right? And you're going to look and you're going to see, I burned my hand. That's not good for me. It's infected. That's not good for me. Now I have to cut off my hand and I lost my hand. That's really what happens when you're no longer receptive to societal living. It's really what makes us human is we're very, very social creatures. So this whole society and the way it's set up that to make us feel isolated and to live isolated as if though it's a good thing, it makes us less receptive. It makes us more blunt. We don't feel connection even though we want to. And so you got to work on that. And that comes with vulnerability. So that's an important part. And vulnerability is more related to this integrity thing that we're just going to get to in a few minutes. But vulnerability, it is the tool that you use, or not a tool, but it is the state that you can tap into that makes you real, that makes you open to connect with another human being. People want to feel needed. They won't be needed and feel like they're needed if you're not there to be vulnerable to ask for help, for example. And that's a big part of how we connect is we're vulnerable and we need each other and we help each other and we feel validated and we feel valuable. And that's what community is. That's what society is all built on. Those one-to-one real interactions that happens is we help our neighbors, we help our family, we get help, and it's like a network where we feel fulfilled together and we move up together. And then we choose to build bigger, better cities and architecture and infrastructure and art and activities and exploration projects and so on and so forth, right? That all of that rests on this need for strong societal bonding. And that's why the responsibility is on the individual to be vulnerable, to be receptive. Now, what happens though is, and now we're getting to the integrity part, you have to maintain a certain level of integrity. You can't be too vulnerable and you can't be too willing to live for society. It's about balance. It's not one for all, it's not all for one, it's both. Because people take advantage of each other as well, don't they? It's part of human nature to want to abuse. And the reason for that is we live in large communities where anonymity is something that you can hide behind. If no one can know who you are, then it leaves it up to you to be able to do things that aren't so good, that brings you benefit as an individual, like more money or more opportunities. But if you're one of those people that do that, you're robbing yourself of connection because you're always having to be anonymous. So there's no point at the end of the day. So maintain integrity so that other people don't take advantage of you, but also maintain integrity so that you don't take advantage of other people. Because the real thing that you want is to connect with them, not to rob them, because then you're left with no one to connect with. Who's going to want to be around you if you rob them all the time and you're forced to evade and walk away to stay anonymous? Um, it's really sad, but that's what I wanted to express today is this need for us to realize that giving up on society is only step number one, and that there's all this other work that we need to do. And so I wish you well in doing it. Move forward. It'll be worth it. I guarantee you. And reach out, be vulnerable, reach out to people and learn to navigate the more dark sides of humanity. So that's where I can't give you an answer. I can't be telling you be vulnerable to 40% and 60% protective. It doesn't work that way. You you start to find that balance by interacting with people, by connecting with them, by knowing where to draw the line, creating boundaries. That's something that I learned from a friend recently that really changed my life. He said, "James, I place boundaries on the people around me so that I can keep them in my life." That's how that works. It's counterintuitive, but it's the only way to have community is you place boundaries, you put limits, right? And that's what allows you to keep them in your life. If you give someone access to your life 100%, you're going to have to kick them out of your life at some point. Even if they don't mean to take advantage of you, or there's a certain amount of integrity that you need to learn to have. And that can only happen if you go out there and socialize. But socialize with the intention of building yourself up as a great person, as a great community member, so that you can gravitate towards others that are on the same path. And we're going to have a better society that way. All right. So I hope this inspired you, and we'll see you in the next one.